In the realm where shadows dance and secrets hide, there exists a collection of tales that will send shivers down your spine. Prepare to be captivated by eerie encounters with the unknown, as we unveil copyright-free horror stories that will leave you questioning the boundaries between reality and nightmares. First story is called The Beckoning. The old house loomed over Daniel like a malevolent spirit, its windows like vacant eyes staring into his soul. For weeks, he'd been hearing strange noises from within, whispers in the dead of night, footsteps that echoed through the empty halls, and the unsettling creak of the rocking chair on the porch. Tonight, driven by an insatiable curiosity and perhaps a touch of madness, he was going inside. As Daniel stepped across the threshold, a cold gust of wind slammed the door shut behind him, plunging him into darkness. With a trembling hand, he struck a match, its feeble flame revealing a grand entryway choked with cobwebs. Each step he took was met with a symphony of creaks and groans as if the house itself were alive, reacting to his intrusion. In the parlor, a rocking chair swayed gently back and forth, its rhythm mesmerizing yet unnerving. As he cautiously approached it, the rocking grew faster, accompanied by the sound of whispers. "Come sit with us," they beckoned, their voices hollow and distant. But there was no one in the chair. Suddenly, a floorboard above them groaned, heavy footsteps descending the stairs. Terror surged through Daniel, paralyzing him in place. Footsteps stopped just outside the room, then began to move again, this time closer. A pale hand with long, sharp nails reached out from beneath the tattered curtain, its touch icy cold. Startled, Daniel recoiled, stumbling backward until he hit the wall. Trapped and terrified, he watched as the apparition glided out from under the curtain, revealing a woman in a flowing white gown, her face obscured by the shadows of a wide-brimmed hat. "Join us," she whispered, her tone a chilling echo of the voices from the rocking chair. With that, she vanished back into the gloom. She beckoned to him with a finger, her touch sending another jolt of ice-cold dread through him. He wanted to scream, to run, but fear had frozen him. Daniel returned to the house, hoping to find the woman and unravel the mysteries of the whispering voices. The woman glided past him, moving with an ethereal grace that defied the decay of her surroundings. Her voice, when she finally turned to face him, sent shivers down his spine. And what secrets did the house still hold? "We've been waiting for you." Daniel, his heart pounding against his ribs like a trapped bird, fled the house, not daring to look back. As the sun rose, casting its golden light on the once menacing facade, but she was gone. And the only sound that greeted him was the mournful creak of the rocking chair on the porch, now swaying gently in the morning breeze. Subject X, it seemed, was a being of pure darkness, an entity that had somehow wormed its way into the fabric of the asylum, feeding off the fear and despair of patients and staff alike. Now, armed with a flashlight and determination, Amelia was going to uncover the truth, and tormented him in a growing sense of dread that something sinister was watching him, waiting for him to falter. Was it real or a figment of his imagination? Inside, shadows stretched and danced, distorted figures that seemed to writhe and twist in the flickering beam of her flashlight. The next story is called The Asylum Guest. Rain lashed against the windows of Blackwood Asylum, each drop echoing the relentless pounding in Amelia's chest. And decayed, yet his eyes wide with terror. His fingers clawed into the floor as if trying to escape something unseen. She stood before the imposing iron gates, rusted bars a grim reminder of those who had sought help within these walls and never left. Her brother Thomas, a renowned psychiatrist, had disappeared here 100 years ago. And then it moved, coiling and uncoiling like a living thing. A chill wind snaked through the gaps in the building, carrying with it the scent of decay and despair. The scratching intensified and the bony figure slithered toward her, its skeletal fingers outstretched. Each room she explored was a testament to forgotten suffering, peeling wallpaper, rusted medical equipment, and the lingering sense of tormented souls. Then she found it, a hidden diary chronicling the asylum's dark history and Thomas S.'s obsession with the mysterious, patient known only as Subject X. As Amelia read, a growing unease settled upon her. The asylum stood silent, its secrets buried deep within its decaying walls. Thomas had written of an ancient evil that thrived on fear, an entity that could be banished only by the light of dawn. The diary entries became more frantic, detailing terrifying incidents of inexplicable violence and the gradual unraveling of Thomas's sanity. In the heart of London, amidst a bustling crowd, lived Joseph, a man burdened by a haunting premonition. He wrote of shadowy figures glimpsed in the asylum's darkest corners, of disembodied whispers that taunted. Then there was the scratching, a persistent sound that drove him to the brink. It was always there, a constant reminder that he was not alone. But it wasn't until Amelia felt it herself, the incessant scratching, that the true horror of Blackwood Asylum revealed itself. She found Thomas in the final room of the asylum, his bones brittle, and in the corner, just as Thomas had described, was a mound of what looked like charred bone. As Amelia approached, the scratching grew louder, the sound of countless desperate pleas for help. Amelia screamed, scrambling back, but there was nowhere to go. Amelia stumbled, falling to her knees, her flashlight clattering to the floor and plunging the room into darkness and dusty libraries, hoping to find some clue to the enigma that was Mr. Shadow. She could hear the creature moving closer, its touch icy cold, and she felt its presence envelop her, a suffocating darkness that seemed to devour her whole. Then she remembered the diary. He traced the sigils on the floor, their intricate patterns glowing faintly in the candlelight. With newfound resolve, Amelia struggled to her feet, her heart pounding in her chest. With a final surge of strength, Joseph uttered the words of banishment. Slowly, as the first rays of sunlight pierced through the grimy windows, the creature recoiled, shrieking in a voice that scraped against her raw nerves. It writhed and twisted, its form dissolving into a cloud of dust that swirled and eddied around her. But as the first rays of sunlight crept through the window, Joseph knew that the battle was far from over. Then just as abruptly, it vanished, leaving behind an eerie silence, and Amelia, forever changed by her encounter with the darkness that lurked within, stepped out into the pale light of dawn, leaving the horrors of Blackwood Asylum behind her. Was it all real or a figment of her imagination? And did she truly banish the creature from the asylum or merely delay its inevitable return? The last story is called The Shadow Man. He sensed a lurking danger, a dark presence that shadowed his every move. This feeling intensified with the arrival of a mysterious stranger, a tall, gaunt man with piercing eyes that seemed to bore into Joseph's soul. This man, who introduced himself simply as Mr. Shadow, had an uncanny air about him, as though he were a specter from another realm. Joseph couldn't shake off the unsettling feeling that Mr. Shadow was the harbinger of the impending doom he deep in dreading. Ignoring his mounting dread, Joseph continued his daily life, attempting to quell the unease that gnawed at his sanity. But everywhere he went, there was Mr. Shadow, always a step ahead, his silhouette seeming to stretch and warp in the gaslight, taking on a life of its own. Sleep offered no respite, for in his dreams, too, Mr. Shadow loomed, his face a mask of creeping shadows that shifted and writhed like a living nightmare. Driven to the edge of reason, Joseph sought solace in the dimly lit corners of antique shops. There he discovered an old leather-bound book filled with arcane symbols and incantations. It spoke of a ritual, a way to banish unwanted presences that preyed on human fear and despair. Following the book's instructions, Joseph prepared for the ritual, his heart pounding in his chest. As the clock chimed midnight, he began to chant the words of power, his voice echoing in the stillness of the night. Suddenly, the air crackled with energy and Mr. Shadow materialized before him, his eyes blazing with malevolent power. A struggle ensued, a battle between light and shadow, sanity and madness. Where Shadow recoiled, shrieking in a voice that shattered the very foundations of the house. And then he was gone, vanishing into the abyss from which he'd come, leaving behind an eerie silence. For he had glimpsed the darkness that lurked within Shadow, and he knew that it would return, drawn back by the receding tide of fear. What would he do when the Shadow Man came back? Only time would tell. So there you have it, spine-tingling tales of the supernatural that will leave you questioning the boundaries between reality and the shadows of our world. If you enjoyed these chilling narratives, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on more spine-chilling adventures.